When you create content, when you speak to people, when you show up in the world excited about the work that you're doing, the business that you're building, that comes across, and people can feel that energy, they can feel that excitement, they can feel that emotion, they can feel that buy-in from you. And if you're not bought in on what you're doing, then why should anybody else be? Now, I've worked with over 100 coaches in the last 18 months. I've helped them build businesses from zero all the way up to 15 and 20K months. And I've been in this game for 8 years working on my own business. So I know a thing or two about staying in the game. And in this video, I want to tell you my thoughts on how you can keep excitement for your business so that you can not only stay in the game, but you can stay interesting and you can stay engaged and you can stay as somebody who people look up to. Because if someone's going to come and join your coaching program or they're going to work with you in some capacity, in some sense, they want to be you. Okay. And it's not that they want every facet or every element of your life, but in some sense, there's a part of you that they see and they feel like, I want that. Now, if I show up on my YouTube videos and I'm down and I'm dreary and I'm unexcited, that's not the kind of energy that people want. And so, although I'm not directly saying if you work with me, you're going to be bored and dreary and unexcited, that's kind of put across without being said, okay? It's not explicitly said, but it is sub-communicated that this guy is bored, unexcited, and looks like he's having a shit time. If I work with him, I'm probably going to end up there. Now, on the flip side of that coin, if I'm excited, if I'm interested and curious about what I'm doing, if I'm following my curiosities and my passions, I'm going to be much more likely to show up on a video like this with good energy. And the person watching that video is going to want to be more like me if I have that good energy when I show up in the call. So what I want to run you through is something that's really, really important. And this is top of mind for me because I have had to do it recently in my own life. And in order for you to stay excited with your business over the long term, maybe you felt business has been slow lately. Maybe you felt less excited. Maybe you felt less engaged. Maybe you thought about doing something else. Maybe you thought about changing your offer, changing your niche. Maybe there's a lot of doubt about the future of your business. And when you're doubting and you're not happy with where your business currently is, it's hard to be excited. I want to tell you what you need to do to stay excited for the long term, because it's easy to get pumped up and motivated in the short term, but business is a game that's played over years and decades. And for you to actually maintain a level of excitement in your business for that period of time, it needs to be based on something solid. Now, we have all heard about knowing your values. Everyone has heard about work out your values and do stuff in alignment with your values. I have done so many values exercises over the years. I have done 20, maybe 30 values exercises over the years. And to be honest, I've always struggled to get clear on what my values are at a given time. Not only that, as my life has progressed, my values have shifted. And so even had I nailed my values down 3 years ago, they would not be the same as they are today. And over the last 18 months, I've gone through some major life changes. I've got into a long-term relationship for the first time in 10 years. I rescued a 30-kilo pit bull mix dog, which has just turned my life upside down. I bought a new car. I started a new business about 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago at this point. So like a lot of things have happened in my life over the last couple of years. And as a result of that, my values have shifted. And I found myself a few weeks and months ago becoming somewhat less engaged with my business, somewhat disinterested, somewhat less excited. And I couldn't put my finger on it because I was working with clients that I enjoyed working with. And I, was doing pretty well in terms of the business being secure and stable and growing, and financially I was pretty happy with where it was at. And I was learning a lot and I was getting better at all of the skills that I needed. But something was missing. And I wasn't sure what it was. And I tried a lot of things. I tried different approaches. I tried different things within my business. I tried to work with slightly different clients and just kept missing something. I knew there was something missing. Eventually, I went back and revisited my values. And what I found was that the things that I thought were my values 18 months ago had completely changed. And I think it wasn't that they had completely changed. In part, that was what had happened. But also, I think that I was less clear 18 months ago than I am now. So I think my life changed. And because of these big life events, it forced me to actually really consider what was important. And my values were way different to what I thought they would be when I actually took the time to sit down and work on them. And when I reflected after doing the values exercise again, I could see that my business was only fulfilling one of my top 5 values. And that was why I felt disconnected. It wasn't because I wasn't excited about business. It wasn't because I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't because I didn't have great clients. It was just I wasn't getting my values met. I wasn't getting my needs met. And that was something that, I don't know how long that was happening for, by the way. I noticed it a few months ago that something didn't feel right. But when I revisited, initially I looked and I said, no, everything is in alignment with my values, but I needed to revisit my values. And when I revisited my values, I found out that actually my values have shifted. And maybe not that they've changed, but maybe they've been revealed because, I'm maturing and growing up and, long-term relationship, being responsible for a dog, being a dog dad, those kinds of things, I think, pull you away from the surface level stuff, and they bring you deeper into yourself and deeper into what's actually important. And I've spent quite a bit of time reviewing a lot of things in my business. And the reality is a lot of things in my business are not in alignment with the values that I have. One of my main values is adventure. And I have to tell you the truth, I have sacrificed that value over the last couple of years in order to grow my business. And what has actually happened as a result is that I think my business growth has been held back because adventure could be a huge part of my business. It could be a huge part of my marketing. It could be a huge part of my messaging and the reason that I do things. It could be a huge part of what gets me out of bed in the mornings. But I sacrificed that in order to focus on the business. It wasn't only the business. As I said, I've had major life changes. 3 years ago, I was jumping out of airplanes every single weekend. I was adventuring all the time. And I haven't done that in some time. And I honestly am missing that. It's a piece of me that I feel, I worry that it has passed me by in life. But I know that that is not the case. And I do want to get back to bringing more adventure into my life. But I didn't even realize how high a value adventure was until I went back and revisited my values. And I think if you want to stay excited about your business long term, if you want to show up with passion in your business long term, you need to constantly be aware of and reevaluate your values. And you need to build a business that's in alignment with those values. So for me going forward, I'm not 100% sure what it's going to look like because this is a relatively recent realization. But I'm going to incorporate that value of adventure into my life, my business and my personal life. And I'm going to incorporate my other 4 top values into my life as well, so that my business actually feeds those values and it will help me in every way imaginable. Just going through that exercise, just understanding that, hey, it's not the business, it's not the clients, it's not me, it's none of this. It's just I'm not living in alignment with my values. Something is out of whack. And I need to just go and make some small adjustments. It's not like I'm closing down the whole business or, it's nothing major. It's just some small adjustments. It's adding some more of the things that I need that are helping me to meet my needs and taking away some of the things that are not doing that. So if you're struggling to find excitement in your business, I strongly encourage you to go and hit a values exercise. I've got one that I'll happily share. It's leaps and bounds better than anything I've done before. It will take you about 3 hours. So if you're not serious about this, don't bother. But if you would like me to send it over, just click the link in my bio and you'll get it on the first email.